If you click this video, I have two good news for you. The first news is that you are not alone in this journey. There are literally hundreds of people who are working in a tech industry with no computer science degree. And in reality, there are so many unrelated degrees, but people are still working in a tech industry. And then the second good news is that in the long run, your degree will not matter. Your experience is more important than major in computer science. Hey, my name is Miriam and I am a quality assurance engineer. In this video, I am going to share with you how to get started your career in a tech industry and how I shifted from business administration to IT sector. I recommend you to watch this video till the very end because I'm gonna give you some very important tips to get started in a tech sector this year. Okay, let's start from where I started and how I ended up being a quality assurance engineer. My major is business administration and I received my degree. I have my diploma. However, I have never ever worked with that major. At the time when I was applying for the universities, business administration and law degrees were very popular, and my parents, my peers, everybody told me that business administration is going to boom. At that time I did not have a lot of knowledge, information about computer science, and all I heard was that it was tough, it was difficult. I applied for the business administration department and I received the 100% scholarship, and I also had the stipend, monthly allowance, and everything was perfect. I spent 4 years studying business administration. Those were amazing years. However, end of my studies, like when I was a senior student, when I was writing my research paper, the thesis, I had a huge stress because at that time I realized that soon I would be graduating from the school and I needed to find a job. Usually students try to start at least some internship and then eventually get employed by that company. All I thought about was working at Big 4 or Big 3 companies. It was so hard to find a job and it was too competitive. Thought was that if I moved to another country, I wouldn't be able to sustain my career, or I would have to switch at some point later on. And at that time I made a decision to switch while I was finishing my degree. I had a huge stress, I had a huge emotional breakdown at that time because it was very hard to make a shift. Tech industry was not really close to my field. Along with writing my research, the thesis paper, and trying to land an internship or a full-time job, I started taking some free courses from my school and also online from different platforms like Udemy, even from YouTube. And I decided that I had to start almost from zero, learn the programming language and set a new goal and find out the new position that I want to get into. I wasn't sure, like, oh my goodness, I spent like 4 years and now look at me, I am going to start from zero. Why I spent 4 years studying business administration? And there were so many questions in my head and I felt really pressured. I felt very stressed at that moment. And I think it was pretty normal. Even those students who were from the software engineering department, computer science departments, they also felt a lot of pressure just to find a new job or internship. Everyone was going to the job market and that felt pretty tough. After weeks of researching what kind of positions would be best suited for me at that given time, I learned about quality assurance engineers, also called software developers in test. Eventually I went to a boot camp. The boot camp was for those people who had zero experience in programming, like for those who had no idea about the tech industry. To become a quality assurance engineer, I had to study Java programming language, which I did not know, so I started it from zero. During that bootcamp, I learned frameworks and the libraries that quality assurance engineers use to do their jobs. At that time, the only thought I had in my mind was to get a first job. the main thing was for me to get started. So by the time I started my bootcamp, I finished the school, I received my diploma. I was already halfway through the bootcamp. After a couple months, I finished the bootcamp. The bootcamp lasted 6 months, and it took for me 2 more months to get a job. And here I quickly want to tell you why I chose quality assurance. Reason number 1, it was relatively low barrier to enter this field, getting into the positions of like software developers in different fields like mobile web development. I realized that it was pretty hard. I had to study first, and I had to study more than for the quality assurance position. And reason number 2, it was much easier to study for quality assurance because there was less information, less knowledge to learn before going to the job market. It was very realistic to finish the bootcamp and after 1 or 2 months to get employed. So these were the 2 main reasons why I chose software developer in TES. My tips for you if you are going to shift your career, if you are going to get started in tech industry. Tip number 1, if you have completely no idea what kind of role you want to pursue, what position do you want, what niche in tech industry you want to get in, then I highly recommend you to get started from free courses. You can get free courses on Udemy, or you can even Google it. You can find it on YouTube. There are so many videos about the careers in tech specifically you can pursue. Take a couple of courses in different fields. For example, you can try to take courses about mobile application development or web application development, maybe some JavaScript programming, for maybe the backend developer, front-end developer, before buying expensive course or committing to a long-term maybe course. Tip number 2, after you have done some research, target one position, one role. Because if you try to choose multiple, then you would have to study more. There are different requirements for different roles, positions. So I would narrow down to only one and focus on that. For example, I focused on quality assurance engineering. And my tip number 3 is to find the bootcamp or the course that has a very good reputation and that has been for a long time on the market, that has proven strategies and courses that really help students to not just learn everything for that position, but also get employed, who support you after you finish the bootcamp. By the way, I will make a video about how to find a good bootcamp and how to actually get employed right after finishing bootcamp. So if you're interested in that, subscribe to my channel. My next video will be about it. This was my story of working at tech industry and coming from the business administration background. I hope that this video was very useful for you, and if it was useful, please subscribe to this channel, like this video, comment below your thoughts, and share this video with your friends. It really helps my channel to grow and help people like you. Thank you, and see you in the next video.